it is interesting to note the fact that the current Director General of MI6, Blaise Florence Metreweli, is the daughter of Konstantin Dobrovolsky, who was a Nazi collaborator from Ukraine during the Second World War. Indeed, Konstantin Dobrovolsky was no doubt part of the networks run by Reinhard Gehlen, and thereby later on a Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst agent. Indeed, Blaise Metreweli, I'm not entirely sure how to say that surname. The surname is of Georgian origin, but she looks like a very evil person. Indeed, she even looks like she was created in one of those Nazi breeding programs whereby they're trying to perfect the Nazi genetic superiority. And yeah, she looks very much like she is bred for a purpose. Indeed, with her father being a Ukrainian Nazi, there's no doubt that Blaise Metreweli is a Banderist, and this relates very heavily to the situation with the MI6 network supporting the more Nazi leaning networks of Ukrainian intelligence and Ukrainian paramilitaries and the Ukrainian military itself in the softening up of the Russian Federation. Indeed, it is interesting that there is a Banderist at the head of the Secret Intelligence Service MI6, because it says rather a lot about the current situation. Indeed, this itself leads into the technocracy ideals. Indeed, technocracy has surpassed the original National Socialist vision, and technocracy is a key component in the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst network setup. Indeed, Blaise Metreweli seems to be not only a British intelligence operative, but also a Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst operative, and is no doubt close to Illuminized circles that are attempting to usher in a technocratic regime. Indeed, another theory that I've posited, which I've long suspected, is that there are a network of psychics operating out of the MI5 headquarters at Thames House, surveilling schizophrenics and other test subjects in an attempt to read their minds. Indeed, it's interesting that these networks would choose as their foremost targets the schizophrenic population, as the schizophrenic population do seem to have been the main bugaboo of the Illuminized networks and the Masonic networks over the previous few hundred years. Indeed, the theories that British intelligence were coordinating to a level and intertwined with the networks of the Bavarian Illuminati in fomenting the French Revolution. This theory was surmised by Bedlam lunatics in the 1790s. Indeed, the original great conspiracy works of John Robeson and Abbe Baruel come close, but do not quite pinpoint the British intelligence link to this whole scenario. Indeed, it is open for debate whether or not the networks around the Bourbons were actually involved in staging the events of the French Revolution, or there was a genuine conflict between the Masonic lodges and the networks around the Bourbons, though I have yet to come to a conclusion on this, and indeed, with history being covered up so well by intelligence agencies, it's very difficult to always come to a clear conclusion on these matters. Indeed, the occurrence of an MI6 control being a Banderist has very much piqued my interest today, as I hadn't really done any research into the current head of MI6, but just perusing a few lines, and I came across that information, which they haven't tried to cover up at all, probably thinking no one will think any of the fact that she is from a family of Ukrainian Nazi collaborators. And yeah, which links very much into the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, which means that the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst are at the helm of the British intelligence services. Indeed, I am beginning to believe now that the British intelligence services and the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst are actually basically one entity. So, although they seem to penetrate each other, that it doesn't really mean anything, because they are effectively one organization which has been part of an ongoing Anglo-German network for the past 500 or so years, which we first see with the operations of the English and German Rosicrucians in the 1500s, and is very much most prominent in the activities of British intelligence and the Bavarian Illuminati in bringing about the French Revolution through the utilization of the French Masonic lodges. Indeed, the French Masonic lodges, including the Grand Orient, seem to have always been under the thumb of British and German intelligence networks. And this continues to this day, with France effectively being a semi-autonomous entity operating under the controls of British and German intelligence. Indeed, the networks in France have a lot of factions that fight amongst each other, but what this actually achieves, I do not know. Indeed, as I've stated before, the French intelligence services are renowned for being basically a bunch of psychopathic serial killers and have a crazy bloodlust, which has arisen from a source that I'm not quite sure of. Indeed, it is interesting how the British and German intelligence networks operate because of the temperaments of the two nations being quite different at times, yet having many similarities, and they seem to be united in an overall aim. Indeed, it's thought that the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst are a Nazi continuum, but their roots go back far further into the old Prussian and Bavarian intelligence services, and there are also many interlinkages between the British and German aristocratic business and intelligence communities, which are continuing today as we approach the Illuminati's vision of an Anglo-German technocratic order, which shall most probably be fully visible by 2030. Indeed, the World Economic Forum seems to be a front for British and German intelligence operations. Indeed, Klaus Schwab, the face of the World Economic Forum, is from a Nazi dynasty, and thereby most probably a Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst agent, though he receives his orders from various people in the shadows. He's not the apex of the conspiracy. He's just a front man. He's also rumored to have some Frankist heritage as well, which would make sense with the German and British intelligence networks positioning him in that particular prominent position, whereby people would see his Hebraic lineage and immediately come to the conclusion that it was a Hebraic conspiracy. Indeed, the Anglo German intelligence networks have always used the Hebraic networks as scapegoats and as fall guys, basically, which dates back to the activities of the European elites in the Middle Ages to pacify the population when things were going wrong. They would scapegoat this particular group. And this seems to be ongoing. And I'm beginning to think that all of the other conspiracy thinkers on YouTube, the majority of them anyway, are controlled in some way, including Whitney Webb, whose research I'm rather fond of, but she seems to be getting caught up in the Frankist conspiracy trap and blaming basically everything on the activities of Israeli intelligence when it is not that simple. Indeed, many people point to Palantir and the fact that Alex Karp is a Frankist. However, he is guided himself by various Anglo-German intelligence networks. Indeed, the Nazis were created by these Anglo-German intelligence networks, so these Anglo-German intelligence networks aren't technically Nazis. There's a bigger agenda. National Socialism was just one of their experiments in a technocratic order. Indeed, Soviet communism was an experiment in that regard also, though they didn't have quite as much control over the day-to-day operations of the Soviet communist state as the Anglo-German intelligence networks did with the Nazi Germany entity. So, yes, returning to the fact that I believe there are a group of psychics operating out of Thames House, the MI5 headquarters, is because of the fact that I believe I'm being attacked psychically in some way. It's very difficult to describe without sounding almost comical of what is occurring. Indeed, I also seem to be being stimulated in my sleep, which is very strange, but other targeted individuals have stated that this happens to them as well. Indeed, what is going on, really? I seem to have made myself a primary target of the intelligence services, and maybe I have been ever since they picked me out for testing in 2012. However, it seems to be occurring with much more intensity these days. This could be due to the videos I'm making, even though they're not garnering many views, they're being seen by GCHQ, MI5, MI6, the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, and various other intelligence networks are all seeing these videos. So, I wonder what Blaise Metreweli is thinking right now when she watches me. Probably a general feeling of hatred. It was one of her predecessors, Sir John Sawers, who was the head of MI6 at the time of my original programming. And I encountered this man, and I have vague recollections of him raping me. And yes, he was operating under the pseudonym James Pritchard. And it was only this at the end of last year when I was doing a little bit of research into MI6 and I saw a photograph of Sir John Sawers. And I thought to myself, I know him. That's James Pritchard. Indeed, I also seem to have a connection with the Cecil family, as I encountered a Mark Hodge during my programming, who is actually Robert Gascoigne Cecil. This I found out later, and the Cecil family control the Secret Intelligence Service, and Robert Gascoigne Cecil is actually the titular head of the Secret Intelligence Service, and Blaise Metreweli reports to Robert Gascoigne Cecil. Indeed, the Cecils have been prominent in British intelligence since the 1500s, and were very close to Elizabeth I, and were instrumental in the coronation of a Stuart king on the throne of England. Indeed, there are many Rosicrucian networks that wish to re-implement the Stuart monarchy. Indeed, the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha family, that we know as the Windsors, were given the British crown for in reward for their sheltering of Adam Weishaupt and his networks in Gotha in the late 17, early 1800s, though a lot of the so-called silencing and banishment of the Bavarian Illuminati by the Bavarian authorities was all staged, because the Bavarian Illuminati were themselves a branch of the Bavarian Secret Service linked to British intelligence networks. Thereby, their supposed suppression was not a genuine act, and these networks proliferated. It was to maintain their cover for the eventual rise of a technocratic order some 250 years into the future.